I've eventually decided to install an air conditioner in my little YouTube studio. And after all the research that I've done, I'm going to share with you everything that I think you need to know about choosing the correct air conditioner for your space. I'm also going to share with you the reasons why I chose the specific brand of air conditioner I went with and how it was installed. Also, this is not a sponsored video, and I bought this air conditioner using my own money. The first thing that you need to take into consideration is the size of the room or the area that you are trying to cool. Now, what I mean by this is air conditioners have got cooling capacities. So they start off at 9,000 BTUs, then they go up to 12,000, 24,000, 36,000, and even 48,000 BTUs. Those are really big air conditioners. But you need to choose the size or the cooling capacity of air conditioner that is appropriate for your size room. And generally, that is based on the square meterage of your room or your area. So that's length times width. And when you go and buy your air conditioner, you can speak to the salespeople and they'll be able to guide you as to what size air conditioner is going to be appropriate for your size room. So as an example over here, this is in my little YouTube studio. This is about 17 square meters. So it is within the range of a 9,000 to a 12,000 BTU air conditioner. So that's probably what I'm going to choose. I'm lucky because that's on the small side, so they are fairly affordable, but you don't want to be caught out buying the cheapest thing that was on promotion at a store and you think you're going to install it in a very large bedroom or a lounge, and you install it and it doesn't actually cool the space efficiently, or it might not even cool the space at all. So just be very cognizant of this first consideration. The second consideration you need to take into account is the location and the type of aircon you need to buy relative to where everything is going to be installed. Now, what I mean by this, again, this is my little YouTube studio. I thought to myself, I'm going to buy a portable air conditioner. I can plug it in and it's just going to cool the room. However, after having done a bit of research and learning how the portable air conditioners work and how efficient they are, I'm going to completely steer away from a portable air conditioner. So I'm going to go with a split unit of sorts. And then you've, again, got to take into consideration your room and what is around your building, and then make a choice as to what to buy. Now, what I mean by that is the old school, well, not really old school, but you don't really see them very much, especially in South Africa, is the window wall units. They get mounted through a window. It's an all-in-one unit. They are kind of noisy. They vibrate a little bit. We don't really see them much anymore. The more common air conditioning units that most of us, I think, are familiar with is the split air conditioning units, where you've got an indoor unit and you've got an outdoor unit, and they're connected via a series of pipes. As I said, you've got two units. One of them is indoor, and then there's two options with the indoor unit. You've either got a wall-mounted unit, which is generally seen in houses, or you've got a cassette, which is a ceiling-mounted unit. It's mounted flush into the ceiling, and I think a lot of us would have seen these in office buildings or commercial buildings. So again, if you go and head off to the store and you want to buy the cheapest thing or whatever's on promotion, and you buy that, you come home, and then you get your installer here, and he has a look around and he goes, maybe the split wall or the split unit with the wall mount is not really going to work, and a cassette or ceiling mount would have been a better option. But now you've gone and bought the wrong one. So you need to take that into account. Now, let me give you an example. With these split units, the indoor unit needs to be connected to an outdoor unit. There's two pipes and there's also a drain pipe. The indoor unit, there's water condensate that comes off of it, and it needs to be drained out. So here's the example. In the space that I'm in now, this little YouTube studio of mine, I could go with a split unit with a wall-mounted unit that maybe we mount up there on the wall, and then we can run the pipes out the back. But actually, in this case, I can't, because there's another room on that side. That is not an external part of the building. So I suppose what I could do is I could run them horizontally and go outside the building there. That could work, and it probably will work in a lot of scenarios. But this one is kind of special. There's actually a plain opening that has been boarded up that you can't see there, so it's not really going to be the best solution to mount a wall-mounted unit up there. Then this view on this wall, this is probably what you've seen in most of my YouTube videos on the channel. We could possibly put a wall-mounted unit up there, and run everything through the ceiling to connect to the outdoor unit. However, again, there needs to be a water drain, and on that side of the wall is another part of the house. So that is not really going to work. We can't drain the water here onto the floor. There are options. If you are really stuck, you can get a little a pump, and it's installed in the unit, and then it actually pumps the water out. I want to keep things nice and simple and reliable, so I'm not going to go with that option. That leaves us with this wall that I'm looking at now. I'll throw a picture up on screen. This is built-in cupboards from floor to ceiling, so that is not going to work. So there's basically only two options left. It's either this wall for a wall-mounted unit, or it's going to be the ceiling for a cassette. So potentially, again, you can't really see this in camera, but I'll throw a picture up there. I could mount it on the top of the wall, just below the ceiling. There is a bit of space there. On the other side of that wall is the outside of the building, and then it can easily connect to the outside or the outdoor unit. So that's an option, but I'm not sure if there's going to be enough space there, or I could go with what I mentioned previously is the ceiling mount or the cassette. And then it's flush mounted, and then I don't mount anything on the wall. So that's just an example of how you need to look at your room or your location and what's around it, and take that into consideration when you choose the style or the type of air conditioner that you're going to purchase. The next thing to take into consideration is the type of air conditioning unit you're going to buy. Now, there's basically two types, maybe a third type. We'll get to that shortly. But the first type is going to be the cheapest style of air conditioner that you can buy, and that is the constant speed units or the non-inverter style of air conditioning unit or compressor. These generally use quite a lot of power, and they've got quite a high startup current. So if you do have a solar system or a battery backup or a power backup system, it is something that you need to take into account if you want your air conditioner to be powered and backed up by your solar system. So please keep that in mind. The second tier that you get is the inverter style of air conditioners. Now, these are the more modern style, and they use quite a lot less power, and they've got very small startup current. So they are better suited to run on inverters or solar backup systems. And then the third type is, I think they loosely call these breezeless air conditioners, where it's kind of the top tier air conditioner. They are extremely silent. You don't even feel the breeze coming out of them, but the air in the room gets cold. Now, that is super awesome if you are very picky and you want an extremely quiet environment, maybe even like a recording studio like this. Not super important to me, but even if you want to install it in something like your baby's bedroom, and you need real quiet environment, and you don't want this cold wind constantly blowing on them, that might be an option that you want to consider. And generally, these breezeless top tier ones also provide a couple of additional features. You're going to have to look at what's available and then just make your choice from there. The next very important thing to me is going to be the spare parts availability. So I want to choose a brand where spare parts are freely available and where there is local technical backup, where there's local technical support, that I can pick up the phone if I need to. If I need to troubleshoot, they can come to my house and see what is wrong. Now, I'm not talking about the installer that comes and installs your air conditioner, takes your money, and you never see them again. Not those guys, the people that actually supply the air conditioner, because they are likely going to know the product better than anybody else. And what a bonus if you can pick up the phone and speak to an actual person in today's day and age. Good luck if you go and try and do that at a big box store. I think we all know how that turns out when things go wrong. Talking about that, when it comes to warranty, through my research, most of everything comes with a 1-year warranty, but I would personally like something with at least 5 years warranty, so that I've got peace of mind for the next couple of years that everything is taken care of. However, what I did note is that often, or basically all the time really, the only time you get these extended or 5-year warranties or longer is when you use an accredited installer. So please use an accredited installer if you want your warranty. Don't try and DIY this thing yourself. It's probably not going to work out very well. The last two things are the appearance of the indoor unit. So in my little YouTube studio here, it's a very utility space. It doesn't need to look fancy. It just needs to make the room cold. But if you've got a very fancy and modern house and you want something to look good on the wall, shop around, of course, with the various brands and pick something that is going to best suit your style needs. Although, if it was me, I would rather stick with the brands that have got better customer support than that look better. It's no good your air conditioner looks really good on the wall, but after 9 months it breaks and you can't get parts. That's not going to help anybody. And then the very last thing, which is not super important, but maybe of importance to you, is what features does the air conditioner have? Because especially with today's day and age, you get all these smart features. But if you just want an air conditioner to pick up the remote, you turn it on, the room gets cold, well then, pick one of those simple ones. But some of these brands have got really nice features. They've got phone-controlled applications that you can set up, and you can set your aircon. You can control it from anywhere in the world, I think, over the Internet of Things. So if that's something that's important to you, then just take that into consideration when you are shopping around. So what type of aircon and what brand did I end up choosing? Well, I'm happy to share with you that I chose to go with Midea, and I chose the Extreme Inverter 9000 BTU split wall unit. I think it's going to be a super hot summer, so this thing should be pretty cool. Let's get it installed. So this is basically everything that I should need for my installation. Now, in the bottom box here, the larger one is the outdoor unit or the condensing unit. In the top box is the indoor unit or the evaporator unit. I also picked up 2 galvanized steel brackets for the outdoor unit. We are here at the coast, so I don't want these things rusting over time. And I picked up a bit of extra lagging. And this kit specifically comes with a 3-meter pipe kit, so it's perfect for a back-to-back installation. But of course, if your rooms are larger and your units are very far apart, you do get much longer kits. But those, I think you're going to have to speak to whoever the accredited aircon installer is that's going to be installing your system. I guess they're going to be able to help you out with those longer pipe kits. Here's the 3-meter pipe kit, basically 2 sets of copper pipes and a little bit of protective cardboard, I suppose. And here's some of the, I think this would be some of the drain components, I would imagine. Anyway, we'll check that out a little bit later. And underneath the unit, here's the water drain pipe. This is for the indoor unit, by the way. And of course, we do have a Energy Star rating sticker here. This is a A, which is pretty cool. So it should be quite light on energy. It is an inverter unit, so hopefully that is true. And yeah, it is not very large at all, which is great. It's also not very heavy. I mean, I don't know, this thing probably weighs 15 kilograms, so really not heavy at all. And here's the little rubber feet. I think these go underneath here. It's a bit of a vibration damping. So that's what we get in the outdoor unit or the condensing unit. So this is the indoor unit, or as I said earlier, the evaporator unit. How do you get this thing out of here? I think it is actually upside down. Maybe I'm supposed to open it this way. I'm not too sure. There's the remote. Please excuse the slight unboxing incompetence here. I've never opened one of these units before, so whoops. Not 100% sure what's all going to come out. Of course, it would be backwards when I open it up. But anyway, we do have a user manual with a couple of odds and ends, so we'll have a closer look at these a bit later. And we've got the wiring kit, so this will connect the indoor to the outdoor unit. And as we saw earlier, the little remote here fell out just now. Let's see if we can get this thing turned around. So here's our first look at the indoor unit, and as you can see, it's just very clean lines, plain white, and it should, I think, blend into any space rather well. So let's go carry on with the install. Now, because this video is already getting rather long, I've decided to just include a few short clips of the installation process, basically where we installed the indoor unit and then I installed the outdoor unit. Now, the installation included connecting up the two refrigerant lines, the power cable, and the water condensate drain pipe on both units. Now, I will explain a little bit more about this in detail in a separate video covering the basic installation process. I think I'm also going to cover the basic operation and features of this specific Midea model in another separate video, and I'll possibly make another separate video about how to install the smart dongle, connect the aircon to the smart home app, and what features and control the app has to offer. I'll leave links to all of these videos in this video's description, and I'll also link them at the end of this specific video. They should pop up on your screen, so maybe just go and check those out. I'm sure you're going to find them really useful. And if you are finding the video useful this far, please give it a thumbs up, hit that like button. It really does help the video spread to many people. And leave us a comment. Let us know what your experience has been when it comes to installing aircons, or maybe when you were selecting your aircon, and if your selection and your considerations worked out well for you. I do try and read all of the comments. I try and respond to all of them. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get to them, but it is always great to hear from you. So please leave us a comment and let us know what you think. So everything has now been installed, and I'm happy to report that it is working brilliantly. I've had it installed and running for about 2 weeks now, and I cannot believe I waited so long before installing an air conditioner in this little office YouTube studio space. Really, if this is something that you have been considering for a while, I would say go for it. I mean, I was kind of mulling over this and thinking about it for the past 2 years, and after having done this installation, it wasn't super expensive, but it is so much more convenient and comfortable to work now. I really can't believe I waited so long. Also, after having installed this aircon, there's two things that I found out about it. One of which I didn't even know when I was buying it, but after having installed and used it now for 2 weeks, it's proving to be a very useful feature. We'll get to that shortly, but let me just give you a quick overview of the installation. So, of course, this is a split unit with a wall-mounted unit, and as you can see, it was mounted above the window opening that we've got here. There was barely just enough space to mount it below the ceiling and above the window. And this is one of the things, the considerations, as I mentioned previously, when you are choosing the type of air conditioner that you are thinking about, you need to consider where it is going to be able to fit in your current space. So that is the indoor unit, or the evaporator unit, and then the piping that connects to the outdoor unit runs through trunking here on this side, and it goes up into the roof space and then connects to the outdoor unit. Another one of the considerations I mentioned was, where is your piping going to run? So this window opening has got a lintel above it. It's a concrete lintel, so I didn't want to drill pipes or holes directly through to the outside. This is why I chose to run everything up through the roof space. So again, that is a consideration that you need to take into account. Then for the water condensate drain, of course, that needs to run downhill, and that drops out the bottom of our trunking right here. It runs horizontally along the top of the window opening, and then vertically down the side, through the floor, and then out through the wall. So that's what the indoor installation looks like. Let's go have a quick look at what it looks like outside. And this is the outdoor, or the condenser unit, and I've installed it way up there, tucked into the corner, and it's installed underneath a small roof overhang. Now, the reason I've done that is so that it's somewhat protected from the rain, the sun, and the wind. So this is another consideration you want to take into account when choosing the location of your outdoor unit. If you keep it nice and protected, it just means it'll last a little bit longer. And it is installed onto two galvanized steel brackets, because we are here at the coast. I don't want those things rusting, so I've used galvanized steel brackets, and they are attached to a very strong structure behind that sidewall cladding. Now, normally those brackets would be installed roll bolted to a brick wall, but in this case, that's how I've chosen to do it here, and that is to get it up and out of the way. You'll also notice that the water drain pipe underneath the outdoor unit runs down vertically down the wall, and it actually joins into the drain pipe from the indoor unit and then runs into a drain. And then lastly, the pipes that connect the indoor unit to the outdoor unit and the plug point have been installed between the sidewall cladding and the unit. They're kind of tucked away. You can't really see them there, but that's where they come out. And at the moment, this air conditioner is running in boost mode. It's running flat out as fast as possible. And I'm not sure if it comes across on camera or if you can hear it, but it's not very loud at all. It's actually just sounds like a fan that is running and some slight compressor sound. But this is really not going to bother anybody. And in fact, let me just, I'm going to set it off boost mode, just in case you can hear what's happening here, and then we'll see what it sounds like. So currently, as I said, it's running in boost mode. It's running flat out as fast as possible. And if I set it to normal mode, we should hear it start ramping down. And there we go. I can already hear it. Hopefully you guys can hear it too. The compressor and the fan is slowly starting to ramp down, and it's really becoming very, very silent now. So what are those two things or features that I said I like about this air conditioner that I find really useful? Well, it doesn't really indicate it on the box anywhere, but this Midea Extreme Inverter air conditioner has got a couple of smart features, and it comes with a smart dongle. And that smart dongle is installed under the front cover of the indoor unit, and it allows the air conditioner to connect to your Wi-Fi, and then you can use a smart home app to control the entire air conditioner. So using the smart home app on your phone, you can go in and select the air conditioner. If you've got multiple air conditioners, they would be listed up here, but I've only got one, so I can select the air conditioner, and there's a couple of settings that you can go through here. But the feature that I like on the bottom left hand corner here, you can actually create a schedule. So if I go in there, I've already created this. So I've set the air conditioner to turn on at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then it turns off at 7 o'clock at night. I've got it set for weekdays, so basically Monday to Friday, and then you can set the various settings. So the mode, when it turns on to cool. The temperature goes to 22 degrees, and the fan speed, I've got it set to turn on and run at 41% fan speed. Now, of course, you can adjust all of these parameters as you will, and depending on the temperature setting, you can set eco mode or smart sleep. So I do that, and then you can enable it, and then every time when I come into the office each morning, about a half an hour before the aircon turns on, so I always walk into a nice cool office, or if it's not summer, if it's winter, then it can turn on and heat up the office or the studio before I actually come in every day. Now, something that I did notice though, the schedule for this aircon, so this schedule that we have just set here, it is stored on the smart home or within the smart home app. It's not actually stored on the air conditioning hardware itself. So if your air conditioner disconnects from your Wi-Fi, then the schedule does not work. But of course, when it reconnects again, then everything works like you would expect. And the other really nice thing is I can turn on and off or control this entire air conditioner from basically anywhere, even if I'm not at home. So in case I do go out and I forget it on and I think to myself, oh, I'm not going to be there for a couple more hours, then I can just go ahead and turn it off, and there we go. You heard the little beep, and the air conditioner is now turned off. The second thing that I like about this air conditioner, because it's an inverter style of air conditioner, it's the, as I said, the Midea Extreme Inverter air conditioner. That's the one that I chose, meaning it's got an inverter style of compressor. Now, what this means is the compressor adjusts its speed sort of according to the cooling demands that is needed. And also the fan on the outdoor unit, it optimizes its speed or adjusts its speed for optimized heat exchange. So what that means is it's basically using as little power as possible, and when it does decide to use power, it ramps it up as needed, and then it kind of tapers it back off when it's not really needed. Compare that to the fixed speed units, which just use full power when it's on and then zero power when it's off. And if you buy the breezeless unit, it's the one kind of model up from this, then you can get power monitoring within the app itself, but I bought sort of just the mid-tier one, the inverter aircon, not the breezeless unit, so it doesn't have built-in power monitoring, but I'm using my home assistant here to monitor the power flow, and we can see here the house is currently drawing 455 watts. So if I go ahead and turn the air conditioner on, we should see, there we go, the air conditioner actually turned on, and we should be able to notice the wattage slowly ramp up. And so you don't get this massive spike with an inverter style of air conditioner. It kind of slowly eases the power usage back on, or up, and you can see there it went from 400 to 700 watts. It might climb a little bit more, and then your air conditioner will start running. Now, over the past 2 weeks that I've been using it, I've been monitoring it, here and there, and I can basically see it using about 500 watts when it's running. And there we go, it's ramped up to 800 watts. So remember, we started at roughly almost 450, 500 watts. So it's at the moment it's ramping up power, and it's using about 500 watts to cool. I really like this feature. It's very easy on your solar power backup systems, on the inverters. And even though these inverter style air conditioners are a little bit more costly up front, over the long run, the power saving that you're going to make is going to far outweigh the initial cost of, or the initial outlay of the slightly more expensive inverter units. And there we go, we can see it's now running at 1 kilowatt. So basically we've added 500 watts of load, and the air conditioner is running now, and it's trying to get to, I'll show you here on the app actually, the outside air temperature is 25 degrees. And the cooling is set to cool it down to 22 degrees. So hopefully the video was able to help you out when it comes to choosing the air conditioner that is best going to suit your needs, and also giving you the various things to consider when it comes to choosing the type of air conditioner relative to the space that it is going to be installed. So if you did find the video useful, please give it a thumbs up, hit that like button. It really does help share the video far and wide. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the brand and the type of air conditioner that I installed. Maybe you've got your own thoughts and opinions, or maybe you've got your own tips and tricks and other considerations that I might not have covered in this video. Leave those all in the comment section. It is always fantastic to hear from you. Also, when the other videos come out about installing this aircon and also running through the features and how the aircon works and how to install the smart dongle, I will leave that video linked right here. It should pop up on your device, so go and check it out. I think you'll find it really useful. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.